It is joked that the last word spoken at Babel was sack, because this means the same thing, a type of bag, in a very wide variety of languages. For example, French sac, Greek sakoun, Latin sacus, Spanish sacco, Hebrew sac, Filipino sacco, Afrikaans sack, and Russian mishok. Of course, such similarities exist because languages are related to one another. Many European languages developed from Latin, while also imbibing words from other languages such as Norse. So why does this Bible story say that the first ancient languages split by means of a miracle? In fact, the Bible doesn't say this. The chapter before the Babel incident says that maritime peoples spread out into their territories by their clans within their nations, each with its own language. This tells us what we already know, that when peoples move a long distance or overseas, they develop their own individual language. The next chapter in Genesis tells the story of Babel. The text doesn't say that any new languages were created. It says that the Lord confused the language, which means the people there shared one language, but suddenly they couldn't understand each other anymore, as if they'd lost their ability to speak properly or to understand properly. This language was spoken not just at the city of Babel, but in the whole land, the land of Shinar. Both those phrases use the Hebrew word eretz, though many Bibles translate it as earth in verse 1 and land in verse 2. Abraham referred to Canaan as the whole eretz, so it's likely to mean the whole land and not the whole earth. Modern scholars have often wondered if the tower at Babel was the great ziggurat at Babylon, and new evidence has shown that this was essentially correct. An inscription was found several decades ago that's recently been studied and has given us the forgotten history of this monument. Nebuchadnezzar II did eventually finish building the tower in the 6th century BC, and he records in that inscription, "A former king built it, but he did not complete its head. Since a remote time, people had abandoned it." When finished, it was 90 metres high, with more than 30 million hand-made bricks, making it the greatest wonder of the ancient world. Imagine something as tall as a 30-storey building in a flat land that has no hills for hundreds of miles. It must have been more awesome than the NASA rocket hangars in the flatlands of Cape Canaveral. Unfortunately, Alexander the Great ordered the tower to be demolished. Excavations have found that the size was not exaggerated. But what was so wrong about building a tower whose top would reach to the heavens? Was God the first NIMBY? One clue lies in its Sumerian name, Temen-Anki, which in ancient Sumerian means house of the foundations of heaven and earth, as if this formed a physical gateway to the gods. The name sounds very similar to how Genesis describes it, a tower that reaches to the heavens. The Sumerian name suggests they wanted to communicate with both heaven above and the earth, the underworld beneath. Perhaps this physical object represented some dangerous spiritual experimentation. One modern equivalent of the Tower of Babel is the way that humanity is now interconnected via the internet. We can all ensure that this new ease of communication doesn't unite us into disparate communities that each want to take over the world. Instead of building a tower to highlight the importance of our own group, We should be integrating and befriending people in groups where we don't naturally belong. We can work to bring everyone into unity under God, not a unity against everyone else who doesn't live in our land. That plan didn't work out so well last time. God bless.